Today from the global lane, U.S. national security at risk. How China is using two of America's closest allies as a backdoor to steal vital technology.
Their target is the citizen, it's you and me.
Japanese Julian Assange, the IT journalist facing prison time for exposing alleged complicity with Chinese spying and the theft of U.S. defense secrets.
I'm ready to go to prison.
And state audits of 2020 presidential election ballots. Big lie or big steal?
I've never had a case with this degree of quality to the evidence in my entire career.
And it's all right here on the global lane. Communist China is on the move, doing all it can to steal secrets vital to U.S. national security interests. And our next guest alleges that the CCP is using two of America's most trusted allies as a backdoor to funnel U.S. military technology to Beijing. Jason Ho is Chief Technology Officer for the Revitron Company and lead designer of the F-35 flight control and image display systems. Jason, thanks for being with us. So you allege that China's using Japan and Taiwan as a backdoor to steal technology vital to U.S. national defense. You talk about a network of powerful Chinese communist families, the so-called Green Gang or Bamboo Network, and their family members that are operating in Taiwan and Japan. Give us an example in Japan. How are they stealing U.S. secrets and technology?
There are two extraordinary examples. First, and there's a Green Gang front-end company. They disguise their name as a Taiwan. People think Taiwan is against China. So we talk to the Japanese government about this company. They're going to take over the most important company called the Panasonic Semiconductor, but we cannot stop it. Now they are controlling even our F-35 and Japan F-15, the radar chips. This is one example.
And it's not just spying, it's outright theft, too. You mentioned the chips. Less than 2 years ago, the Trump administration brought indictments against the Huawei company for allegedly stealing robotic technology from T-Mobile. Tell us how the CCP is using Huawei, and also explain how corporate relationships are affecting the semiconductor chip shortage, especially for the F-15 in Japan.
And a lot of people doesn't know Huawei is not a company. This is an organization. And Huawei has been working with TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Corporation, Manufacturing Corporation, for a long time. And this is the most important ally. So they are very smart because they are from the same family. If you look at and 50 or 70 years ago, actually, they're from the same family, they're from the same neighborhood. And this is the way how Chinese run their business. So Huawei very smartly knows how to use Taiwanese company to infiltrate the industry to get information out.
And you were a victim of that, and we're going to talk a little later to the journalist who's covering this about that. And it's not just Japan. Tell us about those three pillars shaping China's IT industry, how it was used in Taiwan to steal those secrets about the most advanced U.S. fighter jet, the F-35.
And people are not familiar with the China so-called unrestricted warfare, because their target is not only the government. Their target is the citizen, it's you and me. Because in the industry, in reality, a lot of creations come from the small entities, from the mid-sized companies, not just big one. And China hack into the Facebook, everyone will think that's very big news. But if China hack into computer, you talk to anyone, people will say that's really happened. But that's how the China strategy, because in the industry, a lot of small companies, we create something because we can share the risk. Also, we have more freedom to do things. So we are the target for those companies, and from the TSMC, from the Huawei, and they know how to attack us because we are vulnerable.
And that not only affects business, but also our everyday lives. So why should the average American then be concerned about this happening right under our noses? Two of our top allies being used as a conduit for CCP spying and theft.
Because, people doesn't understand, they think the CCP issue is just for government, just for big corporations. Actually, it's not. It's for every one of the American, because they are a very different concept. This is a regime, they have no interest to come to the battlefield to fight with the US forces. But they want to infiltrate our society because they know once they control us, we are the majority. then they can control the US government, they can control the society, they can control everything here.
And what should we do about it, Jason?
It's very tough because, and I'm trying to do my best to explain people and to understand the CCP strategy, because myself, I'm example, I'm the creator, I invented many important technologies, but on the other hand, I'm a small one, but I'm still keep surviving. So if I can fight with the CCP, no matter what kind of tools they use to torture me, but I still survive. I think that's the important message can deliver to people. As long as we fight, as long as we stand up, understand we are on the justice side, then we can win this war.
Okay, Jason Ho, Chief Technology Officer of Revitron, lead designer for the F-35 flight control and image display systems. Thank you, Jason, for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
When we return, we'll hear from a member of the Japanese government about this and a journalist who is facing 3 years in prison for exposing Chinese influence in Japan. We've just heard from defense technology expert Jason Ho alleging that China is using American allies, Japan and Taiwan, as backdoors to steal technology vital to U.S. national defense and security. Well, now let's meet the Japanese journalist who first exposed all of this. She's likely to spend 3 years in prison for violating the country's conspiracy law. IT writer Moe Fakata says she did nothing wrong when she revealed information about this nefarious activity. And here with the Japanese government's perspective is Mr. Yoshiaki Harada. Congressman Harada is a member of Japan's cabinet and House of Representatives. First, Congressman Harada, these are serious spying allegations exposed by Ms. Fakata and Mr. Ho. Are these just a few bad actors, or is it an organized effort by the Chinese Communist Party to use Japan as a conduit for obtaining U.S. technology and defense secrets?
As a politician, I've been in a very good, very deep commitment to the Japanese diplomacy or relationship with China. So we are very afraid, and I have the very strong antagonism about the Chinese expansion. This is one of my main political policies. We are afraid that the Chinese development of cyber technologies in Japan is, we must say that is now becoming delayed with these technologies.
Boy, you write that Japan is no longer a country with Japanese interests in mind. China has become a dominating factor. So tell us more about that and why you pursued the story.
Because I figure out how Chinese Communist Party stole military technology from Japan to China. So I figure out a person who has Japanese identity. Actually, that person is not real Japanese. He is belong to PLA. They stole Japanese identity, becoming a Japanese citizen, and acting as a Japanese to access to restricted military technology. It's coming from U.S. And he stole that technology coming from U.S. and transferred that technology to China. Jason invented the technology for F-35. It's a real-time video transmission system. It's a critical technology for remote control of the robot and the flight system.
And I understand there are also concerns about a possible shortage of semiconductor chips from Chinese connected suppliers for F-15 fighter jets in Japan.
Semiconductors are one of the very big problems we find right now. And so I am a main member of the congressman's meeting and organization to help semiconductor industry to speed up, and so we are very afraid. And from the import from China, I don't agree to it. And yet the Taiwan companies are very energetic for it. So Japanese companies and governments are now are trying to find their own self-production as well as where from the import to supplement the Japanese needs.
Boy, you've been sharing concerns about Chinese influence and spying in Japan for many years now. Have you been threatened? Do you fear for your life?
Yeah, actually, my car tire has a very big nail from the side, so I was almost made an accident. And also my grandfather's factory almost burned.
And you were actually defamed on social media and then detained by the police. Now it looks like you'll go to prison for 3 years. So many Americans would find that hard to believe, and many think that Julian Assange of WikiLeaks has a similar case. So just like him, they would think that you're being silenced to protect powerful people. So what do you think? You ready to go to prison?
I'm ready to go to prison because I want to wake up Japanese people. Our country already penetrated by Chinese Communist Party. If I go to prison, I can wake up 1,000 Japanese people every day. And if I go to jail 3 years, I can wake up 1 million Japanese citizens.
Congressman Harada, what do you think? Should she go to prison?
She really explained it very deeply so that I became very sympathetic to it. I don't think she will go to prison, by any means, and it must not be done that way. Her deeds are not so criminal level. So I, as a lawyer, of course not committed yet, but as a lawyer, I will protect her from that kind of misunderstanding. We are always standing on the very neutral and very right positions. That's why she was also telling me about that. But as far as I understand, as far as I think myself, she will never go into jail by any means.
Okay, our thanks to you both. Congressman Yoshiaki Harada, for your bravery and willingness to share your thoughts about this on American television, and Moe Fukada, for your persistence to uncover the truth. Thank you both.
Thank you.